Bruno Guimaraes going to Manchester City for £80 million plus Rico to Oscar Bobb, and is Eddie Howe getting the England job? We'll be talking about that today, lads. Welcome here today. Now let's first talk about Bruno Guimaraes. Obviously, he's been a controversial topic in the transfer window. Is he going? Is he staying? It's been evident that he has said himself that he's happy at Newcastle and he looks happy, and that's if they get European football in this season. If they don't, then I feel like Bruno would leave because he's got so much talent and so much potential that sadly would be wasted if Newcastle don't get any European football. However, Manchester City has offered recently £80 million plus Rico Lewis or Oscar Bobb. Now, personally, with this deal, Rico Lewis, we've already got 4 incredible centre-backs who could fill in the shoes, and Rico Lewis obviously is 19 years old, he's athletic, he's got great potential and definitely will be a future prospect at Manchester City. But do I think that we need him right now? I don't think so. And I think for him pretty much replacing that 20 million value of Bruno Guimaraes, it's not the worst deal. But I would be offering more. I'd expect Bruno Guimaraes, that 90 million minimum plus that Rico Lewis, Oscar Bobb. But, Oscar Bobb, right winger. We're looking for a right winger. Almiron is sadly not converting the numbers that we need. And, Oscar Bobb, he's got great potential as well. He's also relatively young for, Manchester City. He scored that goal against Newcastle, 3-2 win of Man City. Newcastle bottled it, and Oscar Bobb scored a very nice goal. I'm pretty sure it was assisted by Kevin De Bruyne. So, it's not the worst deal. But if I was Eddie Howe and I was in the board right now, I would not accept the deal because Bruno Guimaraes has not yet, reached his prime. I'd say he's still got a good year or two until he reaches his peak, and then in a few years' time, then maybe once he drops off, then maybe sell him. But I would not accept this deal right now, and it clearly shows how Manchester City are stingy with their money, And will Bruno Guimaraes go to a club that's currently going to be going to court in November with the 115 charges? Is it worth going? And obviously that's going to make many players from their clubs not want to move to Man City. If there'll be a contract that says you'll stay here even after the court case, then it's going to be some fishy business. But I don't think Bruno will want to. I think it'll be a ruined reputation if you go to Man City. It kind of shows how either you want to get club success and you want to get trophies, or you're just doing it for the money. And obviously Manchester City would offer a higher paying contract. So we'll see. But Bruno Guimaraes, he looks happy here. He looks happy at Newcastle, which is good. Now let's talk about Eddie Howe and the England job. He's been offered it obviously after the week after Gareth Southgate got he didn't get sacked, but he released himself from the England job, which was the smartest decision. I would not be able to do it if everyone and their dogs knew how to do the job. So obviously there's a few managers up there. Some are even saying Jurgen Klopp, which never going to happen. But Eddie Howe, he would be the perfect manager for England. He's got that charisma. He's got the experience. He's got the management skills. He knows the tactics. Even with a side like Newcastle, which yes, has money, has the players to get into Champions League football. He's been able to prove many people wrong who predicted that he will do a horrible job at Newcastle, and he's turned around a relatively bad season, I'd say, for what Newcastle were used to the season before because of the injuries, and were able to actually nearly get European football and only a few points and kind of somewhat bottled it near the end. But we've got to give it to Eddie Howe. He's a young manager and he's got future potential. But what I've seen was he kind of threatened Newcastle that in a way of, if the players and if the team, general Newcastle team, doesn't listen to me, I will not find my place here and I will leave soon. I mean, it's fair. He clearly wants to be a big manager. He's ready. He's not doing his job as a joke. He's doing this, as his job. He's doing it for his reputation. Not only that, but also for the club. He wants to make this club as successful as possible. He wants to be one of the greats for certain. He wants to be that next Pep Guardiola. He wants to be that next Mikel Arteta, He wants to be up there, even though I don't think he's ever going to get up there. But you never know. He might eventually, sign with a club like Real Madrid in the next 5 years, if we know. But yeah, he looks like he's here to stay. He looks passionate. He's ready for this project at Newcastle with the new wave of trying to get as many players as possible in case of a freak injury season happens like that. When it was like in the Champions League where we had bloody Joe Linton playing on the wing and I believe Lewis Miley. So clearly it's a thing we need to fix, and Eddie Howe is ready to do that. And he's already signed new goalkeepers who can fill the shoes of Laurie Carrius and possibly even Martin Dubravka. So that's it pretty much for us today. That's been most recent news that I've seen and that everyone else has pretty much seen. If you want to see any more videos of news about Newcastle, make sure to click that like button so this video gets recommended to more people who are interested in this topic as you, and subscribe with post notifications, because we're not only going to be talking about Newcastle, we're also going to be talking about Manchester United and how that affects us, Chelsea and how that affects us with their transfer. We know they've bought more players than us just because of European football location stuff, and also for analysis of games and what Newcastle could have done to improve and what they've done to show off that they are a side that deserves European football. Well, that's it from me today in the NUFC analysis. I'll see you all in the next video.